Sup, nerds, I'm Wes.
I'm Tom.
I gotta say, when Crafting the Cosmos first came in, I had high expectations. I set the bar high. And I must say, I think it met the hype.
I think it exceeded the hype.
I think it exceeded the hype.
Crafting the Cosmos is a game, I don't even really know how to categorize it.
Yeah, I was thinking it's not worker placement.
There's a rondelle for gaining resources.
Like there is a little bit of engine building, but not really.
Yeah.
So it's very unique.
So without trying to put terms on it, there's really two phases to your turn. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to move these balls around.
You're like such a child.
We're not going to get through this. You'll pick up these spheres and you'll move them in a rondelle. So the first half of your turn is gaining resources, and you're going to do that by grabbing these orbs. So you do a bit of a rondelle here to decide the actions that you're going to trigger, and more importantly, the resources that you're going to gain. And all the stuff you gain comes over here onto the side of your board, and then you play stuff out to score. Like, that's mostly it, right? So, and actually, which I will say, I'm going to start off with my very first complaint is that there is a decent amount of downtime. Because I can get a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to sit here, and you really can't take, like, you can plan your turn for how you're going to move these things. But I'm going to sit here and I'm going to put this here, put that there, then it's going to score this, and then I'm going to have to remove this one, and then, I'm going to spend these cards to do this. So, like, there's a decent amount of downtime.
Especially, like, I haven't played it at 4 players, but I would assume that in 4 players, that's just expounded upon. But that's really my only complaint with the game.
Pretty much, yeah. Except maybe the fact that time is super strong.
Time is very... Going hard on time is a very legitimate strategy. Just because it not only gets you a ton of points, but it does run the clock down super fast. But there's definitely a lot of other things you can do to gain points. So you have the nebulas on your board that you're trying... Or I guess they're potential nebulas that you're trying to create nebulas out of and then surround them with life. And when they're surrounded with life, you can put one of these amoebas on there that have like randomized victory points on them that are secret, so no one else but you knows what your final score is till the end of the game. But it's so puzzly in trying to like get the right stars around the area and moving the stars around and like figuring out like exactly how, okay, I need this many movements to do this, but I'm going to gain this and I'm going to do this so I can gain that. Like that all fits together. It synergizes so freaking well.
Vertical integration. So like he was just talking about, there are really like 3 main ways. Well, I guess 4 because there's gold cards. But there's 3 main ways on your board to gain points. You have these pre-nebulas that, yes, you want to have the right stars up. They say at the top what they want. And if you have those stars around them, they'll score. You'll flip them over. You'll get the points at the bottom. And when they're flipped over, if you have life, which are the really, really tiny tokens, which I guess, sure, that's another complaint. These are super tiny and kind of unwieldy and hard to move around. But if you have those surrounding the board, then yeah, you can put a point token on them that nobody else knows how much it is, but you can know the range. It says in the rulebook what the range is.
Yeah.
And the third one is time, which is one of the resources you get here. You're advancing on a track here. And once you get to 6, that token can then move over to the side. You'll get an extra star thing for the completing the nebulas. But these points that you get when you do that, they stack. So it's 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21.
Yeah, so they're factorially larger.
Yeah. So that's a whole bunch of points. And then at the end of every turn after the first couple, because there's end of round goals, but you don't have them for the first 3 turns, I think.
Yeah, so as they flip up, you're going to see, like when they flip up here at the top of this track, and they're going to move down every turn, and then whichever one is at the bottom is going to score. So you have a few turns to start building up towards that goal, but you do have a goal scoring every turn. So you can kind of start planning ahead, but a lot of those goals act against each other. Like you could have, well, you're going to score for nebulas in this sector of your galaxy, but next time you're going to score for nebulas in this sector of your galaxy. So you have to figure out, like, do I even go for this goal? Do I abandon it? Do I start planning ahead for the next one?
You can see clearly that guy's going for that goal. So maybe I will ignore that one and start doing this one.
I think they did a good job on these. Like it's 6 points, which I feel like is just enough that you want to go for all of them. Like it's not overpowering where like, oh, I missed one, I'm screwed now. But it's enough that like it hurts when you don't get it.
Yeah, like 6 points, that's a lot. A lot of these nebulas are 6 points.
Or less.
So I'm like, that's a pretty big chunk of points. Now, also, those gold cards are on really cool, like, standy things, which you may have noticed is a really great blessing / curse of this game, is that you are utilizing the box and the components in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is part of the game, this rondelle and these cards. Like, all the way that we have this set up is kind of mandatory for the game. I say blessing and a curse because we're supposed to have these cards, these rows of cards off to the side. There's little tokens here that like tell you to, you know, when they score and to move them down. But in our playthrough video that you're going to see footage of right here, we move them away from the side of the box because if I'm sitting on one side and the thing's on the other side of the box is covering it up. Now, I did just now realize that this whole tray lifts up. We could have just done that, Wes. We could have just taken this out of the box and put it right where it is. Where it is.
It's prettier like this.
It is prettier like that.
And I will say that the mechanics of the game are like elegantly beautiful. It all works together super well. But also the components of the game work. Like, not only is the artwork beautiful, I know there's a lot of discussion on space games, and like a lot of space games lack color or they're kind of drab. This one is very vibrant, oversaturated colors. It's really nice. All the standees where they flip and like kind of click into the board a little bit is all really nice. The ball moves along the track really nice. But also like the box, the way the rondelle works with the ball sliding, they're all like kind of fitting in here. Everything is like situated around where you gain it. I don't know, just the whole presentation of this game is like the gameplay's up here and the presentation is up here, like at the same level. And even just the way they balance that, I love.
Now, the only other sort of game mechanic thing that we didn't really talk about that I think is probably important is these cards over here. They're just like it's the 4 colors over there. Yeah, so it's just 4 colors mixed together. And they're one of the resources that you can get during the rondelle portion of the first half of your turn. But you can burn them to get special ability cards, which are pretty important.
Yeah.
Like, you can also burn them for points and other things. Some of the abilities require you to burn cards from your hands to do them. But that is the only real engine you're building, is those abilities off to the left. You could kind of call it a little bit of an engine of like just Venn diagramming these nebulas to where like, oh, well, this one wants a lot of H's and this one wants a lot of H's. Oh, I'm going to put the H's in between so they score for both, kind of. Yeah. But this is the only real engine building. So I do think that while I really like the game, I'm going to say this not as a detriment, but as a positive, that this is relatively beginner friendly.
I would say so. When you first see it, you could be a little taken aback by even just the presentation of it. But it's really not that complicated. I think the most complicated thing you do on your turn, other than just like puzzling things together, is kind of getting a hang of the rondelle. Because you always have to move your ball. And then you're going to get 2 other moves that could be your ball or one of the black balls. But also, like, if one of the slots is full, when you go to move one of the pieces, it jumps over it. So there's definitely some balancing, like how exactly in what order do I want to move these? There's even, I know one point where you're like, oh, you can't get this. I'm like, well, actually, if I move this one here, now I can jump and I can get to there. Which you kind of almost want to think ahead a little bit of what does the next player want? And am I setting them up something super powerful? But also, like, if it's super powerful for you, maybe it's worth it. Like, that's going to be up to your play style. But that's really the most complicated part, like moving part of the game.
We were talking about components earlier, but I don't think we talked specifically about these pieces. They're really awesome. This might be like the best new component I've seen in a while. These are awesome. Yeah,
they look good. They're functional. The way they click into the board. Certain things make stars go supernova, so you flip it over and it becomes a wild. That whole way it fits. Again, the way the presentation of the board fits together is so satisfying.
Don't include that. Don't include that.
I highly recommend that you get this game. Like, a lot of times we say, if that sounds good to you, click down there. No. This is one that you need to have. So go ahead right now while you're watching. Pause this video. Give it a like. And then go click the link down there to get a copy of Crafting the Cosmos, because it is mwah.
Yes, I agree. This is one where me and Wes are probably going to be fighting over this game. Or we're just going to get a second copy. I don't know. Actually, you know what? You know where we can get a second copy? There's a link in the description.
Wow. You know what else there's a link to that we also both have?
Game Toppers! They're the sponsor of Neverboard Gaming. It's what we're filming on right here. They're absolutely amazing. Go check them out. But also down there is going to be a button that says subscribe.
It's also amazing.
You know what happens when you click on that button?
You'll never be bored.
Yeah.
So you can't say balls.
Okay.
But it's called orbs now. Sorry. I'm crying. I'm losing. I'm losing. Oh, I needed that.
All right.
It's been a hard day, guys.